Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes to keep your flight safe, especially when you're flying over vast stretches of ocean or unfamiliar territory? Well, lately, there's been a lot of buzz about the skies over Latin America, and it's a fascinating look into how the global aviation system works to protect every single passenger. Just recently, the United States Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, sent out a series of special safety notices. Think of these as a heads-up for pilots and airlines. These alerts, which came out on January 16th, are basically saying, hey, when you're flying over certain parts of Mexico, Central America and South America, just be a little extra careful. The FAA has pointed out a few specific zones. We're talking about areas near the Gulf of California, parts of the airspace around Panama, Colombia and Ecuador, and even stretches of the eastern Pacific Ocean. The notices advise caution at all altitudes, from cruising height right down to lower levels. The reason for this heightened awareness? The FAA mentioned that there could be some unusual activity in these regions that might affect how flights operate. Now, unusual activity can sound a bit mysterious, but in aviation, it's a broad term. It could mean a lot of different things. But one of the key details in these advisories is a warning about navigation systems. You know how we all rely on GPS to get around? Well, airplanes use incredibly sophisticated satellite-based positioning systems too. The FAA has warned that these systems might experience some intermittent disruptions or interference while flying through these specific zones. Imagine you're a pilot, and your navigation screen suddenly gets a little glitchy. It's not something you want to see at 35,000 feet. That's why these notices are so important. They give flight crews a chance to prepare. They might double-check their other navigation instruments, be more vigilant in communicating with air traffic control, or even slightly adjust their flight path to be on the safe side. It's all about having a plan B, and even a plan C, ready to go. The goal is to make sure that any potential issue is managed before it even becomes a problem. These advisories are set to stay in effect for 60 days, giving everyone enough time to monitor the situation and adapt. So, should you be worried if you have a flight booked to Cancun or Bogotá? Absolutely not. In fact, this is a perfect example of the aviation industry being proactive about safety. Safety notices like these are actually pretty common in the world of international travel. Aviation authorities are constantly monitoring the globe for anything that could impact flights. This could be anything from military exercises, rocket launches, or even major infrastructure projects on the ground that might affect communication signals. Think about it. The world is a dynamic place. Geopolitical situations change, air traffic patterns evolve, and technology is always advancing. Aviation authorities like the FAA have a responsibility to keep airlines informed about any new developments. For example, similar guidance is often issued for airspace near conflict zones or areas with unpredictable weather patterns. It's a routine part of ensuring that the skies remain the safest way to travel. The current notices for Latin America are happening during a time of increased operational activity across the whole Caribbean and Latin American region. More flights, more movement, more everything. Regulatory bodies and airlines are constantly communicating, sharing data, and working together to make sure that pilots have the most current information possible. This global network of communication is what makes international air travel so reliable. It's a massive, coordinated effort that most of us never even see. So what happens next? In the coming weeks, the FAA, along with other international aviation organisations, will continue to keep a close eye on the situation. If conditions change, they'll send out updates. Airlines will use this information to adjust their procedures as needed. This could mean revising flight paths to avoid certain areas altogether, implementing enhanced equipment checks before takeoff to ensure all navigation systems are in perfect working order, or adding extra details to the pre-flight briefings for pilots and crews. The key takeaway here is preparedness. The entire aviation industry is built on a foundation of being prepared for anything. From the pilots in the cockpit to the engineers on the ground, everyone's top priority is safety. These notices aren't a sign of danger, they're a sign that the system is working exactly as it should. They show that there are dedicated professionals around the world whose entire job is to anticipate potential issues and make sure your journey is as smooth and uneventful as possible. So, the next time you're on a plane, gazing out the window, you can rest easy knowing there's a huge invisible safety net in place. These recent advisories for Latin America are just one small but very important thread in that global net. It's a reminder that caution and communication are the cornerstones of modern aviation. Thanks for watching and learning a bit more about what it takes to keep our skies safe. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the world of travel. Fly safe.